welcome everyone to this full moon pick a card reading. Now this full moon falls in the sign of Sagittarius and it's on the 3rd or the 4th of June, depending on where you are in the world. Now this full moon is a Stawberry Full Moon, and it's to do with when the strawberries ripen in the northern hemisphere. So it's basically it really means for us on this kind of level, it means that the intentions that you set or the goals that you set back in March may actually now be coming to fruition, just like the strawberry seeds you would have planted in March. Of course, I am talking the northern hemisphere here. But it doesn't really matter. I'm in the southern hemisphere, but it doesn't really matter. It still applies no matter where you are in the world. Basically, the strawberry seeds that you would have planted back in March are now going to be bearing fruit. So there is this sense in this Stawberry Full Moon in the sign of Sagittarius on the 3rd or 4th of June is actually going to see something come to fruition. You're going to see something that is going to manifest, basically. Now, not everything we set intentions for or we set out to manifest actually manifests. So this is a full moon, and a full moon is about bringing clarity to also what isn't working, to what hasn't come to fruition. So this full moon is going to be showing us that as well, the things that haven't worked, where our efforts and actions haven't yielded any fruit. Now, remember, the full moon brings illumination, and it shows us what needs to change or be tweaked, or even what we need to bless and let go of. So some of those things that haven't come to fruition, we actually may need to release them. It's a time of evaluation, gratitude, and forgiveness. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion and luck. So this can be seen as a lucky full moon. Now, that doesn't mean that everything's going to turn out exactly the way you want it to. But it's lucky in the sense that what is meant for you will happen, and what you need to see in order to release what no longer serves you, you'll see. So that is lucky. It'll stop us from putting energy into things that no longer resonate with us, basically, my friends. Now, like I was just saying, the things that you were hoping to manifest could manifest now. And those that don't, you'll be given the clarity to change them. Now, remember, I said Jupiter is an expansive, Jupiter is expansive. So the universe may be asking more of you. This is a great moon to release aspects of yourself that keep you small or limited, to see what limits you place on yourself that hinder your expansion, your evolution, your growth. Sagittarius is a mutable sign which loves freedom. So this is a great time to see how you can change things up and how you can be more adventurous. This is a great time to release any limiting beliefs. And remember, Jupiter wants you to think big. So if things aren't working out quite like you'd like, maybe the universe wants you to think bigger, wants you to go for bigger things, wants you to reach out more. This is a beautiful new moon, full moon, I beg your pardon. This is a beautiful full moon. And it's one of really looking at what is coming to fruition and what hasn't. What can you grow on? And what is it time to release? Thank it for the lessons that it's brought you and let it go. Okay everyone, we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3 and pole number 4. So we have the picture jasper for pole number 1, we have the aventurine for pole number 2, we have the amethyst for pole number 3, and we have the black obsidian for pole number 4. So picture jasper, aventurine, amethyst and black obsidian. So my friends, select a pole by number, crystal, colour, just a pole that particularly draws your eye for no particular reason other than it's just caught your attention. Select as many poles as you feel drawn to, and I'm sure there'll be a message for you behind whichever pole you select. Allow your intuition to guide you. Let's get started. Hello pole number 1, welcome, welcome my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. I beg your pardon, not this week at all, for this full moon. And this full moon is from full moon to full moon, so it's the 4-week breakdown. So basically this reading is for the next 4 weeks. So week 1 we have the Ace of Swords. Week 2 we have the 4 of Cups, week 3 we have the King of Cups, and week 4 we have the Wheel of Fortune. As the overall energies we have the Underworld and we have Past. We have, as additional messages, we have bring spirituality and balance spirituality and practicality, and we have expect powerful change. So I'll just realign that so there's more space. There we go. Okay, let me just grab the energies for this reading. Okay. So my eyes, I don't know if yours have been, but I find this kind of, I'm seeing it kind of like as a spiral, this spiral into this very light filled area. Now I'm really feeling there's an aspect of your life, of yourself, pole number 1, that is hidden. Now this is a full moon. Full moons bring clarity, and look at this full moon up here. So I'm really feeling that something, you know, you've got the cups here, something that you might have been feeling, but you just couldn't quite put your finger on it. You just couldn't quite figure out where this feeling was coming from. This sense of something really not being clear. This underworld, I'm just really seeing that it was something hidden from you. And I feel with this past card, I feel that these energies are not one leading into the other, which sometimes it happens. I feel these energies, the message is rolled into one, and so therefore the energy is both these energies play a part in your overall energy. And I feel that what's hidden has got something to do with your past, or something was hidden in the past, or I just had Spirit say to me, for some of you, there's something in the past that you've just buried. You've put aside and you're not looking at. Now remember, this full moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is a lucky planet, but it also asks us to expand. So it basically brings to our attention the ways that we keep ourselves small, the ways that we are not opening up to the possibilities in our life. And I feel for you, pole number one, there's a sense here that, now when I say the past, I don't mean like, I mean for some of you it can be childhood, or it can be, you know, years and years ago, but I'm really seeing this as your recent past, as an adult. And I'm kind of feeling that it's an aspect of yourself. Now, it doesn't have to play out that way. It could be things that other people have hidden from you. It could be things at work where, you know, maybe your boss is selling the business and, you know, it's been kept from the employees. Because there'll be major changes or things like that. But whatever this is, pole number one, you know what it is. Like, no, you don't know what it is, thank you, Spirit, but you sense there's something up. Now, Spirit's just said to me, it's very important that you don't go looking for, like, that you don't go looking for this, that you don't, you know, go to work and go, oh, is there something being kept from me? Or you don't look at your partner and go, what are you keeping from me? And this is going to come to, you know, to illumination. Like you're making your way to the light, basically. You're making your way to the understanding of this. Now, for the majority of you, this is an aspect of yourself. This is something that you have hidden from yourself. And you're actually going to face it. At this full moon, this is the week of the full moon, you've got the Ace of Swords. And this is a message that brings clarity. This is a message, an insight, guidance in some way that brings about a new beginning. And it's a gift from the universe. So Spirit's just asked me a question. Why are you keeping this from yourself? So if you've selected pole number one, my friends, I believe that Spirit is asking you to say, or to ask yourself, what don't I want to know? What truth do I not want to know? Okay, I'm going to come back to these cards, but Spirit's called me to go to the tarot because it leads us into week 2 here. So week 1, at this full moon, you've got the Ace of Swords. The following week, you've got the Four of Cups, but you're basically being given the Ace of Cups, and you're kind of a bit reluctant to look at it, to accept it. You've got your eye on something else, and you're being quite stubborn about it. You're being quite like, no, it's that or nothing. This is the best case scenario. I'm not looking at anything else. So these two cards side by side, quite interesting energy, because at the full moon, now the aces are, the swords are your mind, your intellect, your intuition. They're also communication and messages. This gift from the universe, because the aces are a gift from God, a gift from the universe, something that just finds you right when you need it. So this is clarity. This is a message that comes to you right when you need it. The cups is your emotions, your feelings, but it's also what leads to fulfillment. It's also what fulfills you. So you're being offered the Ace of Cups. There is this opportunity in your life, pole number 1, that offers you great, the potential's there to really be fulfilled in some way. But your focus is on something else, because it looks better to you. Now, Spirit's just said, you know, we don't always know what's good for us. Spirit's always got our back. And sometimes what looks less actually yields more. Sometimes we think we're taking a step back, or we're taking the long way around. And sometimes that is true in the chronological time, like the time span, the linear timeline that we are on when we're in this world. You know, we do measure things up with time and things, but sometimes Spirit gives us a detour. It gives us another choice, and it actually leads to something completely more aligned with us, completely like we wouldn't have hoped for ourselves. And week 3 at the new moon. So this is the full moon, this is the waning moon, this is the new moon, and this is the waxing moon. This is a great card to get in a waning moon, because a waning moon is everything slowing down. You know, this waxing moon and this full moon is kind of go, go, go. There's a lot of clarity, there's a lot of understanding, there's a lot of letting go. And now here, there's this period of kind of regrouping, seeing what your efforts have brought you or moved away from you. Because at the new moon, you've got the King of Cups. This Ace of Cups here leads you to the King of Cups. Look at this Ace of Cups that he's holding. The King of Cups has done the journey of the court cards, and he has received all that he needs on all levels in order to give back and to be of service. So there is always a sense of accomplishment, a sense of arriving at a goal or a dream with the kings. And this one is one that fulfills you. This is one that fulfills you on a heartfelt level. And this is the one that changes things for you. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune. There's not a big jump between these Four of Cups and the King of Cups. They're basically one after the other. Now, this is a 4-week reading from full moon to full moon. But sometimes energies take a bit more time to play out, and sometimes they play out much quicker. And I feel, pole number 1, you've got this underworld and this past, and you've got this Four of Cups. And I feel like there's something in your not too distant past, something about yourself, something about maybe even your goals and dreams that you've buried, that you're not willing to look at. Have you actually shelved your dreams? Are you now looking at, like, did you want to start your own business, and have you now decided, oh no, I can't do that. I'm just gonna stay in my day-to-day job, or I'm going to, you know, whatever it could be. Remember, these are general readings, my friends, so please apply the energies, or take the energies and apply them where they fit in your life. That's really, really important. That's how these readings become more personal to you, is just taking that energy. Spirit gives me examples so that you know how the energy's playing out in a kind of scenario, if you like. So you get a better understanding of how it's likely to play out. But I give it to you in an aspect or 2 aspects that it could possibly out of thousands. So take those energies, take those feelings and apply it where it resonates with you. But there's something that you're really being stubborn about. There's something that you really don't want to see. And when I'm saying you're being stubborn about it, it just could be that you're fearful. It could just be that you don't know the steps. And that's okay. Sometimes we need to not fight with what's happening in our life. Both these figures in these cards are being drawn to the light. And I think that's a big message in your reading, pole number 1. There's this sense that if you allow yourself the space, you'll be drawn to the answer. You'll be drawn to this. You don't have to fight or search for this illumination, this understanding, this clarity. It's coming to you. That's why Spirit was very insistent when I was first talking about these 2 overall energies, and Spirit said they don't want you to go looking for what this could be. This is going to come to you. This reading is here basically to give you a heads up. And that's all that tarot readings are. These readings give you almost like the power of hindsight in the now. What could you be looking out for? What can you become more aware of? Because the minute we're aware of something, when it comes into our peripheral vision, you know, when we just catch sight of it from the corner of our eye, we look, because it's not that we're expecting it exactly, but it's part of our awareness. So when it comes into our awareness, we notice it. And this Wheel of Fortune, now the time after the new moon we set intentions, and then the waxing moon the week that leads us to the following full moon, is a real action-driven week. And this Wheel of Fortune is almost like, gosh, everything becomes aligned. Your actions are aligned with you, that are aligned with your higher self, that are aligned with what fulfills you, and are aligned with what Spirit is trying to bring you or trying to show you. This Wheel of Fortune, you know, the Wheel of Fortune is a lucky card. It speaks of the wheel turning and bringing you more opportunities, more luck, more, you know, it's almost like fate is coming in and helping you out with things. Because I see the Wheel of Fortune as also the Fate card. You know, this is a major arcana. This is how the universe helps us. And this is how the part that the universe plays in co-creating our lives. And so this is an aspect of fate stepping in and moving things in a really fortunate way for you. Now, the Wheel of Fortune also talks about how do we put a spanner in the works. You know, how do we sometimes hinder the wheel from turning? We block these opportunities that come our way. And pole number 1, I really feel that this full moon is all about that. There is something in your self-talk, your self-belief, in your environment that is really letting you down. And I don't think you can see what that is yet. And I'm wondering if it's something that happened in the past that you haven't quite dealt with. So what I mean by that is, you know, if we have a failed marriage in our past, or a failed love relationship, for instance, romantic relationship, we bring all those fears of failure into new relationships if we haven't dealt with them, if we haven't worked through those issues, if we haven't let go of our attachment to that relationship or to what went wrong. And it creates baggage that we drag around with us. So there's this sense of the light. It's almost like Spirit saying you need to be lighter. You need to let go of those baggages that are stopping you from, oh, for starters, they're slowing you down. And rather than walking directly to what you want, they're kind of making you go about it in a roundabout kind of way. You know, you might be sitting here thinking, that looks wonderful. But no, I have to put in more effort because I'm, you know, I've made so many mistakes that, you know, I don't trust myself. I don't think I can do it. So there's these limiting beliefs. Remember, this full moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter wants us to expand. It doesn't want us to be blocked and small. And when we are, Jupiter's thing is to crack that open. And I feel that maybe that's a sense of what's happening here. There's a sense that this clarity at this full moon sort of cracks you open and makes you realize, gosh, I thought I had dealt with that. I obviously haven't. Because sometimes, pole number one, and I'm sure we've all been there so many times, and it can be so extremely frustrating. But we think, oh, okay, you know what? Yep, that didn't work out. I've worked through that. I gained a level of understanding, and now I'm good. And then something else will happen, and it'll bring you right back to it, and you'll think, what? I thought I had dealt with all this. And you can see that, gosh, okay, no, it's still coming up for me. It's still creating issues for me. So I obviously haven't dealt with it. Sometimes we just chip at things little by little, but their hold on us is quite strong. So it's just little by little that we actually chip away at the shell we've created around that, for want of a better way of explaining it. So for some of you, this might not be stubbornness. It might just be that this is how many times you've looked. This could be a new love relationship, a new job, a new adventure to go on. And you might be looking at these previous adventures going, well, you know, I've never made them work. Why would I do that to myself again? So there's an aspect of these that hasn't healed. That's probably what's going to show you what you need to release, what you need to bless, give forgiveness to for yourself, for others, and move on. Now, interestingly enough, you've got balanced spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. So you've got another full moon, another card of illumination, of clarity. And balanced spirituality and practicality, I'm almost feeling like it's a merging of these two worlds. You know, and if you look at these, it's like a world that leads into, so it's like real world and spirituality, you know, the real world and spirituality, and it's like spirit is moving you towards the light in each, so towards your spirituality. And this is balanced spirituality and practicality. So I'm wondering, pole number one, especially with the King of Cups here, the kings are of service to the world in different ways, and this King of Cups denotes being of service in a very fulfilled way, you being very fulfilled, but also this is emotions and feelings. So there's this sense here of you helping others in regards to feelings and emotions, and so you might be helping others through a difficult time, or you might have the knowledge to be able to help others through difficulty. And there's this sense of the spiritual awareness, this clarity, this understanding. You know, maybe there's a way that you can bring that into the real world, into your practical world, meaning into your relationships, into your jobs, into your day-to-day life and how you interact with others. And this clarity, the swords and the cups, is your mind and your feelings, and bringing those together so that they're in alignment, not allowing your mind to diss, if you like, your feelings, and not allowing your feelings to override your logic. You know, there's a sense of bringing those two together, because we've got this new moon eclipse, and it says expect powerful change. And I love how this is here, and this is over the King of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. Just as balance your spirituality and practicality, it's like balance your emotions and your intellect. Balance your logic and your feelings. Your mind and your intuition. Very spiritual and practical. And this expect powerful change. The kings are powerful. And the Wheel of Fortune brings change. This is going to have a big impact in your day-to-day life. But I do feel that this starts as an aspect of you. So more in the spiritual realm, more in how you see things, how you understand things, your beliefs and your values. But there's this clarity that comes, this message, this aha moment. And that is what, that at this full moon, that is what Spirit is asking you to keep an eye out on, because your immediate reaction is going to be to go, oh, that was weird. And to underworld, I'm seeing under rug. You're just going to sweep it away and go, well, that was ridiculous. But I think the pull, even if you might do that initially, the pull will be too strong. You are being guided to this understanding because it's of service to you. It helps you grow and evolve and change. But I feel like it's going to have an impact on those around you as well. And that's why, you know, there's a saying that says, if you want to change the world, change you, or start with you. Because every time we change and we grow and evolve and we heal, that aspect of ourselves, that energy, goes out into the world, and that's healed energy, and it impacts the energy of those that we come into contact with. To what extent, most of us will never really know, but it doesn't make it less important. Big changes coming your way. Big changes. It'll be very interesting to see pole number 1 where you are next month at the next full moon. Very, very interesting. So I'm going to leave the messages there, my friends. I hope that this will help you at this full moon and for the next 4 weeks. Take good care of yourselves. Love, light and blessings, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye, pole number 1. Hello, pole number 2. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you at this full moon and for the following 4 weeks. Because remember, this is full moon to full moon, so it's a 4-week reading. Week 1, we have the King of Wands. Week 2, we have the Lovers. Week 3, we have the Death card. And week 4, we have the 10 of Wands. Nice. We have Land of Dreams. And we have Sunset. This Sunset card has been coming out quite a bit in the readings recently. Put that one up there. We have an end of a tough cycle approaches, and we have the energy is gaining momentum. Okay, so let's have a look here. Okay. Sorry, I've got the cat that I'm house sitting. He's just decided that he wants to play. So if you hear noise in the background, he's scratching up all the furniture, he's being very naughty. Okay, let's have a look. Let's go to the overall energies. So we've got the overall energies. We've got Land of Dreams and Sunset. We've got the full moon, the King of Wands. We've got the waning moon, the lovers, the new moon, death, and the waxing moon, the 10 of wands. Additional messages, we have the end of a tough cycle approaches and the energy is gaining momentum. The first thing I got just as I picked up this card is, what are you hoping for, pole number 2? What are you hoping for? If you had a genie in front of you, one wish, what would you most like to see happen in your life right now? Now, I think this card is so beautiful. She's up in the heavens, she's up in the universe, she's up in the clouds. This bed is kind of floating, there's flowers, the moon, clouds. It's really beautiful and it's very light. You know, there's a sense of floating here. There's very sheer curtains floating in the breeze. So it's very light filled, but very light as well. You know, look at this light from this full moon. And I feel the question is not based in, I was going to say reality, but Spirit's asking me to explain that. What I mean by reality is it's not based in, you know, maybe what you can actually achieve right now. So it's asking you to dream. Now, a dream is not something that you can do right at this very minute. You know, I often say, you know, setting dreams and goals, and setting a goal is very tangible. You know, a goal means there are steps you can take to achieve it. Having a dream, you know, and that's interesting actually. Spirit's just made me realize how we say we set goals and we have dreams. Isn't that wonderful? So it's different. And I think pole number 2, Spirit really wants you to see the difference. This is not goal setting. This is having dreams and looking at what dreams do you have. Now, Spirit's just said to me, just because we have dreams, it doesn't mean that they have to come true. And what they mean by that is that sometimes a dream just guides us in a certain direction. Sometimes having dreams just makes us realize how maybe our goals that we set ourselves are not aligned with our dreams. So Spirit's asking me to explain this, pole number 2. So if you know your dreams, what dreams you have for yourself, they're like the guiding light that we can then set our goals to. So Spirit's just given me the analogy of lotto. We might have a dream of winning lotto. Now, that is a dream because, of course, yes, we can play lotto, but it's kind of out of our hands whether we win or not. So you can't really do more. You can play it, but you can't. You know, it's out of your hands. Now, you might have the dream of winning lotto. Now, what does that mean? It's almost like look at your dreams and see what does it come back to. So you winning lotto might actually, you might want to win it for security. You might want to win it so you can buy the home of your dreams or live where you want to live or whatever it might be. So are you setting your goals against that? That's the message I'm getting from this card, pole number 2, is look at your dreams, understand what fuels that dream. And then when you see what fuels that dream, you can see what goals you can take towards it. Because we've got the Sunset card. And I feel, especially with the Death and then followed by the Ten of Wands, this is 2 endings. You've got the Land of Dreams, you've got 19. You know, and I'm saying that as a 1 and a 9 or a 10. So it's new beginning and an ending. The 9s are the ending in numerology, the 10 is an ending in tarot. So the ending here is more important than the new beginning, or the ending comes first. And I'm seeing the sunset as an ending as well. It's the end of a day. And it's when darkness comes, if you like. So there's this sense of, I'm seeing it twofold here, is allow the sun to come down, allow the tide to take things out. And there's a sense here of looking at your dreams in that kind of more objective way. Because when we look at our dreams and go, okay, then what does this really mean? You know, you might have a dream of finding your soulmate, that loving partner that you can go through life with. Now, if you look into that, like we did the lotto win, if you look into that and you go, well, I'm basically looking for companionship. I don't want to be alone. I'm looking for somebody I can share ideas with. Or I'm looking for somebody that I can start a family with. You know, so it brings more to the equation than I just want a soulmate. You understand, why do you want a soulmate? What is the kind of like the need behind it? Sometimes I just heard, what is the fear behind it? You know, needing to win lotto is a security thing, you know, and the desire to win lotto, sorry, thank you, Spirit. The desire to win lotto sometimes can just be fueled by the fear of not having enough. And therefore we feel that a lotto win would actually alleviate a lot of our problems. Same with a relationship. Sometimes we feel to not have to do it alone. There's somebody else we can lean on. So there's a fear of, you know, having to be self-reliant, or there's a fear of having to do it all on your own, or being alone, or being lonely. And I feel with this sunset card, I feel that some of your dreams are actually going to change, pole number 2. When you look at them objectively like that, they're actually going to change, because suddenly you realize, oh, it's not coming from a place of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not need. It's not even really desire. It's not coming from a place of almost like higher wisdom, or a place of dreaming big for ourselves, dreaming, you know, remember, this full moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter wants us to expand. Jupiter is a lucky planet. It wants us to feel fortunate and lucky. And there's this sense here that, are your dreams there to make you feel safe, or are your dreams there as like this adventure, this expansion, this I want to see what I can achieve? Can you, Spirit's telling me you can see the difference. I'm hoping that you can. I'm hoping that you can, because sometimes we set our dreams out to negate or to fill a void or a fear, but Jupiter wants you, pole number 2, to set your dreams on expansion, on being and becoming the best version of yourself, living a life more full and more fulfilled. And this sunset, I really feel that the sun is going to come down on a lot of these long held dreams that you've had, pole number 2, that you're actually going to start to realize that, wow, they were just, I just wanted those because I would feel more safe, or I thought they'd be more happy. But these dreams actually don't make me feel like I'm accomplishing something, or they're not really there to move me forward in any way. That's a very interesting message. I'm quite intrigued by that. I'm actually thinking to myself, okay, I'm actually going to look into this myself. I'm going to look into my dreams and my goals, and I'm going to see, where do they come from? Because are they being fueled by fear? Are they being fueled by lack? And that's not where a dream should come from. A dream should come from a true dream comes from, what can I achieve? How far can I push myself? How much can I grow and learn? You know, what stars can I reach for? Dreams make us bigger. They open us out. They don't keep us safe. If anything, they probably make us more exposed. So if you have dreams that keep you safe, it's time to relook at those. I love that. I love that. Now, sorry, I was just really torn for a minute then of, do I go to the moon cards first, or do I do the tarot first? But I was kind of waiting for direction, because I got I get a little bit excited when I do my readings, and I get all these messages come to me, and sometimes I just need to just pause and because this has really intrigued me, and so then my thoughts and my energy comes into the reading, and that's why sometimes I have to pause, because I get excited, because I think, oh my gosh, this is so interesting, and then I kind of step back and allow Spirit to step forward again. So I'm being guided to the Moonology, and I'm being guided to calm down. But it's so interesting, and I hope, pole number 2, that you're as fascinated by that I am, because I just find that so interesting. It's not a way that I've ever looked at dreams before. Now you have the full moon in Capricorn, so we've got another full moon energy, this clarity, this understanding. And it says the end of a tough cycle approaches. And I feel, because this is the full moon, I feel the fullness of it, the clarity of it. I feel like these understandings that you're coming to, they're actually going to change things. Now, I feel that the tough cycle that is ending here for you, I think it's based in fear. And the reason why I say that is because of the tarot cards that you've got, and because of the message of looking at your dreams and seeing where they come from. You know, a lot of us have fear of death. And when I say that, it's not just of death itself, but it's of endings. The finality of things really has us frightened. So there's an aspect here of yourself that I feel you're going to be challenging, you're really going to be looking at. Now, Capricorn is an energy of, they're quite thorough, and they do the work. You know, they're goal oriented. And I feel that's almost the energy you're embracing, pole number 2. There's this sense that suddenly there's this goal to overcome your fears. And you might not even be at the overcoming yet. You might just be at the aspect where you're starting to see them, and you're starting to see how they fuel you. And what I mean by fuel you, it means by how they are behind the decisions that you make. So what fuels you can be excitement. What fuels you can be fear. They will make you make very different decisions, very different choices. Now, I love the following energy. The following energy is the waxing moon. So that's the moon that comes after the new moon. So that's week 4 of this reading. And it says the energy is gaining momentum. And I feel this is the energy of you overcoming your fears in order to soar. Because I always see this as almost like this is the same bird, up, up, up. And this looks like a lot of effort, and then suddenly it's off. It's caught the wind and it's soaring. Suddenly its size no longer matters. If anything, its size actually helps it hold and catch the wind and the I think it's the high and the low blood, not blood pressure, pressure systems. I'm not sure quite how it works, but you know, you often see pelicans take off here in Australia, and they're so heavy, and then once they get up high, they just glide. They virtually don't even flap their wings anymore, and suddenly their size works for them, not against them. And it's really, they're so graceful. It's really beautiful to see. And I'm just getting this sense here that the more you let go, the more, thank you, Spirit. Spirit's even saying it's not even the more you let go of your fears. It's almost like the more you see them, the more you can rise above them. And then suddenly you get to a point where your fears no longer hold you back. You can see them clearly. They're still there. It's not like you get rid of your fears. It's just that you work with them. You know that they're there. You understand them, but you rise above them. You go through them. You do it anyway. And that's really beautiful energy. And that ends a real difficult cycle for you, pole number 2. A difficult cycle of, I just feel like dreams not being fulfilled. Because we can't fulfill dreams that have been made out of fear, that have come from our fears. Spirit doesn't want us to work that way. There's got to be something more. Now, it's very interesting because Spirit just said to me, sometimes our fears fuel us to do more, to have more, to be more. But that's a bit of a dangerous game, they're saying, because the fulfillment doesn't come with that. That's when we achieve things and then we think, oh yeah, oh, I thought I would feel all this. I thought it would be all that, and it's not. And that's why having dreams that are not linked to fear, they're linked to expansion and growth and aligned with our true self, aligned with basically born out without fear. They're the ones that expand us. They're the ones that nurture us and move us forward. And they cause us to grow, but in a way that, wow, we push past our fears. We work with our fears and do it anyway. You know, somebody that's afraid of public speaking, if they always make sure that whatever they do, they will never have to public speak, they could get to great heights. But if public speaking is something in their journey, until they do it, there's going to be this lack. And once they do public speak, there'll be this sense of accomplishment, this sense of fulfillment. That's this kind of energy, pole number 2. Now, at this full moon, you've got the King of Wands. And I think this is the guiding force. I think this is the clarity that comes to you at this full moon. And it's a sense of what you're really passionate about and how you can bring that about in the world. So the kings have the last of the court cards. The page has taken the Ace of Wands, seen the potential in it, not known what to do with it because it's at the very, very beginning. They've probably had to learn and take courses. The Knight then takes action to bring things about, taking steps. It's the action-driven court card. The Queen then steps back after a period of doing and striving. The Queens take a step back and see what comes back to them. Feedback, resources, ways to tweak things. The King follows the Queen. So the kings have received all the knowledge. They have received the resources, the people. They're at the pinnacle of their game. And therefore, that's when they're of service to others, because that's when you become, like if this is a job, you become really good at what you do, and therefore your service is like good quality, isn't it? Like your service is really up there. Your information is spot on. So the clarity comes from, I feel it's this desire to be the King of Wands, to be of service, to be at the top of your game, but in an area that really fuels your passions and your soul and really drives you. It's the fire behind you. And that, I feel, is how you will align your goals with your dreams when they come from a place of alignment. They come from a place of a genuine desire to be more. Not because we have fears that we need to feel safe from. Now, following the King of Wands and in the waning moon, so the waning moon is the week that follows the week of the full moon. The waning moon is a time of taking stock, slowing down, seeing what has worked and what hasn't worked, taking this clarity that came at the full moon and kind of going, okay, what am I going to do with that? I've had to let go of a few things that haven't worked. There's things that have worked, but I can grow on. So it's this time of taking stock. And you've got the Lovers, Major Arcana. So this is how Spirit helps us in the journey of life. And the Lovers, for me, in your reading is, are you doing what you love? Like, based on what you love, the people that you love, the place that you love. It's based on what you love. And your guardian angel is here guiding you. Look at the sun, just denotes real clarity of thought and mind and feeling and awareness. Their nakedness here shows me that you're working past your fears. You're no longer coming from a place, or you will still have fears, pole number 2, of course you will, but you will see now how they hinder you, or you'll see how you use those fears to make your decisions. And I feel that there's this sense that I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to take more chances. And that's really beautiful energy. But there's this sense here of being fueled by your soul, by your passions, what drives you. That's really in line with what you love to do, the people that you love, the places that you love. It's very heartfelt. And then at the time of the new moon, you've got the Death card. Now the new moon is all about setting intentions, making, your wishes. This is looking at those dreams again, making new ones. And I feel that this is the game changer. This is where you no longer desire the same dreams. You no longer have the same wishes for yourself. I think this is where you realize, pole number 2, how much you've changed. And I think it really takes you back. Look at the sun coming up again. There's a sense of the sun setting on an old way of life for you almost, because, our dreams kind of, they mold us a little bit. They kind of, we carry them around with us, and when we let go of them, they change us. And I feel this sun setting on your dreams or aspects of yourself that now you can see no longer work for you anymore, really brings this new day, this new beginning, and it brings endings first. Endings first. Now the interesting thing is week 4 is the waxing moon. Now the waxing moon is, so this is the week of the new moon. The following week is the waxing moon, and that is a time of great energy. It's a time to take action. And you've got the 10 of Wands. And I'm feeling in your reading, the 10 of Wands is not so much your burdens. I just feel like you're going to be doing a lot. I feel like there's going to be a lot of work. Because you're making a lot of changes. You'll be tweaking things. You'll be changing things. You'll be striving for different things. So there's this sense that you're going to be really busy. But I feel that it's in real alignment with what you've let go of and with what you're introducing back into your life, or not back into your life, but what for the first time maybe. But real heartfelt dreams and goals. You'll be setting dreams that fuel your imagination, and then as you set goals, you've got this dream that fuels you. So there'll be a lot of action taken in this 4th week. There's a lot of realization. Look, and your energy's gaining momentum. That's this energy as well. Allow the endings to come about. And I think, pole number 2, you're probably going to instigate a lot of those endings because you can see how they no longer work for you. And for a lot of you, I think it's just in the way that you're doing things, in the way that you make decisions, in the way that you take action. There's going to be a lot of changes. How exciting, pole number 2. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Sending you lots of love, light and blessings. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this full moon and for the next 4 weeks. So this is full moon to full moon. So at the full moon, we have the 8 of Cups. The following week is the waning moon. We have the Knight of Cups. The new moon, we have the 5 of Pentacles. And then the waxing moon, we have the 10 of Swords. Interesting energy. We have freedom as one of your overall energies. So the overall energy is freedom and the end. I like these two. And it doesn't say endings, it says the end. Full stop. Done, dusted. We have communication is key. New moon in Gemini, and we have believe in the impossible. Blue moon. How befitting this energy is. So my friends, I'm going to start with the overall energies, and Spirit said one at a time. At this full moon, and it's very interesting, pole number 3, and I'm not sure if some of you are Sagittarius, or even I've got fire signs, but you don't have to be, so don't worry if you're not. But Sagittarius is a sign that loves freedom. They love adventure and they love freedom. And you've got the freedom card. And I feel that at this full moon, look at that, the full moon card is the 8 of Cups. She's coming out of the cage. Freedom is going to be at the forefront for you. It's going to be the reason behind everything, I feel, for the next 4 weeks. Freedom to be able to do, think and be yourself is massive for you right now. It is basically everything to you. Everything to you. And I'm getting that whatever doesn't bring you a sense of freedom, it spells the end for it. Isn't that interesting? Spirit's just drawn my eye to the numbers, not for the numbers' sake, but we've got 44 and 43. The numbers follow, so if the end had come first and then freedom, the cards follow each other. So your endings are not going to bring you freedom. Your need for freedom is going to bring about the ending of things. So there is a reason why Spirit wants to draw your attention to that pole number 3. There is a sense here that you might not necessarily want things to end, or things are not going to end upon themselves. They're not going to end without you ending them. You bring about the endings. And it's your need for freedom. It's your need for self-expression. I feel that we all have, but this is your reading, pole number 3. I feel that you have been changing, evolving, growing. You've come into new understandings about yourself. And you now want to apply that in the real world. What once fulfilled you probably doesn't anymore, or definitely not on the same level. What you loved before, you probably don't now. These endings are inevitable in order for you to embrace completely who you are now. Spirit is saying the energies don't support you when you try to mold yourself to others' expectations or to what you think others expect, to lifestyles, jobs, relationships where you can't be true to you. And if you can't be true to you, pole number 3, Spirit is telling me you're not actually being true to the others. And the reason Spirit has said that is because when the endings come, I feel there's going to be a sense of feeling guilty. And Spirit really wants you to know, pole number 3, that your guilt is human conditioning. Spirit's saying that you actually should feel more guilty by not changing the situation, because there's a level of dishonesty here that is not fair to you, but it's not fair to the other. So when you worry that you're altering the life of another, your choices are impacting the lives of those around you, you're letting people down, you're discarding people or things that were once important to you. Spirit really wants you to see the honesty behind that. Look at this light. That's your inner light calling you. And we can't ignore that. I mean, we can try, but it brings greater, it gets louder, it gets brighter. And generally the way that it does that is it brings more difficulty into our lives. You're no longer keeping yourself small, pole number 3. And it's very interesting because I was going to say you're no longer allowing others to dictate to you what you can do or can't do. But Spirit actually said, you know what, it's very interesting, but they weren't. It's your perception of the job, the relationship, the place, the situation that caused you to be a certain way. So in order to fit in, you felt you had to be a certain way. And your intuition is mostly spot on, but you can't blame that on those around you. Because I feel with this end card, the things that are ending, relationships, jobs, situations, mindsets, whatever it is, if there's a third party involved, meaning other people involved, they haven't been dishonest. They are mostly, because all of us have our facades, they are mostly being true to themselves. That's why there's this sense that you have to almost go it alone. Because the people in your life, the situations in your life, the life that you have built yourself on whatever level, it can be your whole life, it can be just an aspect of it, you've built it on not who you are now. And I feel, pole number 3, you've been changing a lot, and your outer world hasn't really reflected along the way how you've been changing. And suddenly it's just, it's too massive to ignore anymore. So let's say you've been changing, you know, we're always changing and evolving, but you've been changing in leaps and bounds for the last 5 years, just as an example, pole number 3. And suddenly this last little change just tips the scales, and you can no longer contain yourself where and how you were before. And so it spells the end for things around you. And I really feel that this card is not to be feared. The endings won't be pleasant. They never are. But they're a necessity. And I feel with this, the end card here, I feel the endings are quite significant in your life. Spirit's actually telling me that pretty much all of you know, you know this on some level. You feel it. I'm not telling you anything new. Spirit's saying that hopefully this reading is that little nudge that you needed, that little confidence booster that, you know what, you're not going crazy. You're not just throwing things away. The way that you feel is real. The way that you see how things just no longer resonate or fit with you is real. It's not just you going to find greener pastures. It's you being aligned with you and needing your world to reflect that. And that's why throughout our lives, you know, we are often called to say goodbye to things, because we are always changing and evolving. I think the thing with you, pole number 3, is that you've let this go on for quite a while. So you've changed so much that it's almost like you're this pressure cooker that can't contain everything anymore. And there's this sense that I think you fear that if you are truthful, it's all going to explode and it's going to make a mess of things. And it might. But there's also the need for freshness. There's also the need to walk away and have new beginnings. Communication is key, new moon in Gemini. And I feel this is first and foremost with the twins here. I feel it's communication, because I'm seeing communication is the key. I'm seeing the communication almost as in honesty. You know, communicating from a truthful place. And that starts with you to yourself first. Because I feel like a lot of you, pole number 3, you can feel how much you've changed, but I don't think that you can comprehend how much you need your world to change now. Because I think you've been changing so slowly for such a long period of time that you know you're different, but it's almost like I just got, what does it all mean? Do I throw away, you know, things that have been important to me in the past just because I feel different? You know, you're playing down how you feel. You're playing down what you really want now. You're playing down how important this freedom is for you. And I think that the more honest you can be with yourself, the easier it's going to be to communicate that with others. Because when we realize how much we've changed, for instance, let's say pole number 3, you're ending a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that all of you are ending a relationship, definitely not. But let's use it as an example. The more honest you are with yourself at how you've changed, when you come to end the relationship, you'll be able to express how much you've changed. If you come at the discussion as your old self, as, well, this is not working anymore, and you know, you're not who I thought you'd be, and blah blah blah, that kind of thing, it's not coming from a place of truthfulness. Because the truth is that maybe that other person hasn't changed. Maybe they've changed as well. So maybe both of you have changed in different directions. But all you can do is talk about you. All you can do is express what you've been through and where you find yourself now. And that's not saying that these endings will be any easier, but they'll be less drama filled, thank you, Spirit. Less turbulent. There's going to be sadness, definitely. It always is when we leave things behind. But there's this sense of this is inevitable, pole number 3. So it doesn't matter how long you take, it's inevitable. You've got blue moon, believe in the impossible. And I think this is Spirit's way of saying there is so much possibility in your life for this new you, for the you that you have become. But it takes stepping out of your comfort zone. It means ending things and starting new things. It means change. And the more you can embrace that, I think the easier or the lighter this journey will be. It's not, Spirit keeps saying to me, I don't want to make it like this could be just a breeze and you're going to fly through it. It's not going to be like that. But I think the lightness that you feel afterwards is going to make you realize how important this was. So again, there's a little bit of energy of hindsight will really help you, pole number 3. Now the 4-week breakdown, at the full moon, I feel like you're just getting clarity on what you need to leave behind, on where you need to move on from. What is no longer aligned with this aspect, this new you. And it's important. Acknowledging how you have changed and acknowledging what needs to change in your life is huge. Sometimes I see that as the biggest gifts we can give ourselves. And they're generally the journey that teach us the most about ourselves, our resilience, what we truly want, who we really are. Because it shows us what's really important to us and how what is really important to us now 10 years down the track might not be at all. 5 years down the track, a year, 6 months, a month, doesn't matter. The time span doesn't matter. I think we need to stop as a race, you know, as a human people, we need to stop placing importance on longevity of things. I had a great boss that used to say, I'm not going to I'm not going to pay people more because they've been here the longest. I'm going to pay people more because they've got great ideas or because they bring more to the table. And I think there's such a sense of wisdom behind that. We think that because somebody has worked in the same company for 30 years, they're dedicated and they're, it's commendable. But what if they've stayed there out of fear? If they've kept themselves small and blocked? Same with relationships. What if two people have nothing in common, barely talk to each other, but they've been married for 40 years? Do we celebrate that? So the time spent at something, doing something, growing something, it's not what's important here, pole number 3. And I think that's the clarity that comes to you at this full moon. The following energy, the following week is the week of the waning moon. So the waning moon is how we slow down and how we take stock of the clarity that came at the full moon. And you've got the Knight of Cups, and I love this energy because this energy shows me that you're moving forward slowly. The Knight of Cups is still moving, but he's very slow. And he's holding the Ace of Cups, the cup of fulfillment. This is moving forward with an open heart, listening to your feelings and your emotions, allowing them to surface but not getting swamped in them. You're moving forward carefully and gently. So there's a sense here of what's ending. You're finding the most heartfelt way of moving forward, of letting go. And that's really beautiful energy, because there's a sense here of, I really feel seeing what's right for you. And when you see what's right for you, you also see what no longer is right for you. So suddenly the things that you're leaving behind, it's not that there's anything wrong with those. It's just that they're not in alignment with you anymore. And when you can see it like that, you don't blame. You don't feel resentful. You still feel the loss, but there's less pain attached to it. Now, interestingly enough, at the week of the new moon, you've got the Five of Pentacles. And I find this energy very interesting in this position, because the Five of Pentacles is being left out in the cold. It's having options but not seeing them. So it's really thinking and feeling that everybody is against you, or there's nothing that's working out for you. And this is at the point of the new moon. So the new moon is when we make our new intentions, we set goals, we make wishes. And I feel like there's a sense that so much has probably changed in your life, or you've changed so much, that I feel come the new moon, you're just not going to know what to wish for. There's an aspect of yourself that you just won't know. It's like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. What do I want? You know, who am I? And there might be twinges of anxiety and loneliness and feeling that I've gone about this wrong. This is wrong. I've made mistakes. I've done it wrong. I've understood incorrectly. And I feel this period for you, pole number 3, is really like life has caught up with who you've become. or life is catching up with who you've become. And there's a sense that your mind, your emotions, your habits also have to catch up with who you've become. And there's this sense that there's a feeling, a little bit of feeling of being lost, of being, well, I don't even recognize myself. I don't even know where to start. Like, who is this person and what do they like? What don't they like? What do you want? So I feel that the new moon might actually have you questioning more than you've got answers for. I'm really feeling it might actually make you feel a little bit like, what the hell just happened? What have I done? I've just tipped my whole life upside down, or an aspect of my world upside down, or suddenly I'm not happy with anything. Give yourself time, pole number 3. When we go through big changes, big internal changes that then spill out into our world, the best thing you can do is give yourself time. Feel what you feel. Be really honest with yourself. Because I feel it's when we're really honest with ourselves on how we're feeling, and how we're feeling a little bit like, okay, well, all this inner work has left my life in chaos. What the hell? My inner work is supposed to bring me peace and love and joy. Yes, but sometimes we need to break things down in order to rebuild them properly. You know, chaos is a sign that we're either not functioning from a place of our true self, our aligned self, or we're in the aftermath of trying to bring everything into alignment. You know, sometimes we hold on to things way longer than we should. So they've evolved to a point that they shouldn't. So then it's a bigger mess to clean up. And I think we shouldn't be frightened of that. And I feel that even though you are frightened of that, pole number 3, I feel you do it anyway. I feel this 10 of Swords is the end card. It is the end. Let the old you die and let the sun rise on the new you. That's where your present is. That's where your future is. And you can't drag your past into it. It just won't allow it. So it's like your old life, your old you. That's it. It served you right up until this point. It's been so beneficial to you, and I think Spirit really wants you to embrace that, pole number 3, to know that all these hard-earned lessons, the way that you've changed, the choices and the decisions that the old you made, bless it. They were made with fear and doubt and uncertainty, but they enabled you to become who you are today, to grow and to evolve. Holding on to our old selves is not how we bless it. We bless our old selves by gratitude. Thank you so much for doing the very best you could do. I've got it from here. That's the energy that Spirit wants you to embrace for the next 4 weeks, from this full moon to the next full moon. One of real gratitude and forgiveness and love, and really, really embracing and loving and nurturing and giving freedom to the new aspects of you, to this new you that has emerged into the light. It's its turn now to move you forward. Amazing message, pole number 3. I'm going to leave it there for you. Love and light and blessings, my friends. Have a wonderful full moon, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 4. Welcome, my friends, to this full moon reading. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you. So we have the 4-week breakdown. So the full moon, we have the 3 of Wands. The waning moon, we have the 3 of Swords. The new moon, we have the Emperor. And the waxing moon, we have the 4 of Pentacles. Your overall energy, we have imagination. And we have birth. And then additional messages, we have you are good enough with the full moon in Virgo, and don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. Now really, this is the full moon in Sagittarius. Now we've got another full moon in a fire sign, Leo, and another full moon in earth sign, Virgo. There is a lot of illumination here. Full moons bring clarity. Full moons show us, they bring clarity of what is working, what not, and what is not working, what we can grow on and what we need to let go of. Now, your overall energy is imagination and birth. And what amazing, amazing energy to have for a reading. Your imagination, what you can imagine for yourself, brings about a whole new world for you. The birth of tangible new things that you can accomplish. What you are imagining now, it's not just going to stay in your imagination. I feel you're actually going to be able to give birth to it. You're going to be able to bring it into reality. You're going to be able to make it tangible. What a message. What a message. So pole number 4, at this full moon, allow your imagination to soar. Allow your imagination to run away with you, to run away from you, to just give yourself no limits whatsoever. I don't think that there's anything too far-fetched or too big or too out there that you could dream of. Imagination is that. Imagination has no limits. You don't tell yourself, oh, I'm going to disappear into my imagination. Oh, but I can't think of that because, well, that's not quite real. And I can't think of that because I can't see how that's going to happen. That's not giving your imagination free range. And your imagination plants a seed in you that actually enables you to bring something new into your world. Now that can be anything. It's your imagination. Now Spirit's saying to me, pole number 4, that this is not new. So for some of you, this is something that taps you on the shoulder again and says, hey, you haven't thought about me in a little while. This is something that maybe as a child or a teenager you had. Gosh, be great if I could do that. it'd be great if I could be this, or if I could meet that person, or something. There's something in your imagination that really fueled a lot of your daydreaming. Now, I've gone back as childhood and teenagers, but it doesn't even have to be. It can be not that long ago. But Spirit is saying to me, this is not new. Now, for some of you, there'll be a something like a past dream that might be tweaked. So it might not be exactly the same. But your imagination is going to take something and it's going to grow and expand on it. And really, I'm just really getting run with it, which is really interesting because none of these cards denote speed or running or anything. But this is just your mind, and there's a sense here of just allowing yourself to daydream, really to just give your mind, just don't limit it in any way, shape or form, because your other overall energy is birth. There is something that wants to come through you. Now, I'm not saying whatever you're imagining here, that's exactly what you're going to bring into the world. You know, it could start in this imaginary world and get tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked until it can be something you can physically bring into the world. But that doesn't make it any less special. It starts in your imagination. It starts in the unreal, the out there. And I just got, for some of you, this is actually not to bring anything into the world, but to birth a new you, or a new aspect of yourself that you probably never saw in yourself before. So this imagination might actually make you realize, gee, I used to draw so much as a child. That needs to come out of me again. And it can be something as simple as that. And then it can be something as grand as inventing something that the world's never seen. Everybody, it'll be different, but it won't be less impactful. There's something that needs to come through you. This can be a book. It can just be words. It can just be saying the right thing at the right person that then leads to something amazing. But there is a sense of amazing here. And I don't want that to get lost in these little examples that I'm giving. Because what can be amazing to one person can be totally boring to another, and vice versa. What can be amazing to one person can be completely impossible to another. You know, we're so different. Something can touch us so deeply and profoundly that just won't even make a ripple for another person. That doesn't make it less meaningful, less impactful. If anything, makes it more so, because that's you living in alignment with you, not looking at what others are doing, how others are impacted. This is for you and because of you. And I feel that's why you've got You Are Good Enough full moon in Virgo. There's this clarity of, do you know what? I can dream big. I can. I'm allowed to let my imagination go riot. I'm allowed to hope and wish and expect wonderful things for me. I'm allowed to birth my ideas. I'm allowed to want to see my dreams come to fruition. There's this sense of allowing yourself, permitting yourself, giving yourself permission. I just got to free range, to just no limits. There's this real sense in your reading, and I'm seeing it both with these threes, of the limitlessness and the limited, and how they impact us. And you're going to run with something. I just really feel that, pole number 4. You're going to run with an idea. You're going to, your imagination is going to spark something in you that suddenly makes you feel so good about yourself. That makes you feel like, oh God, I can do this. Oh my gosh, I've got this. I am this. You are good enough, pole number 4. And our ability to allow our imagination to wander, I feel, has a direct impact on how we feel about ourselves. When we place too many limits on ourselves, we're too controlling of ourselves, so we're trying to anticipate everything that can happen. So to go, oh, I'm just going to let my imagination go wild, feels dangerous. It feels a little bit ridiculous. And there's this sense here that the more you're just willing to be you, the more you're just willing to see your uniqueness, the more you're willing to just not allow yourself to be limited, the more this will impact you. You've got the full moon in Leo as well, which says don't let pride get in your way. And I feel this is not about, don't allow yourself to be proud of you, or don't allow yourself to see how far you've come, or don't allow yourself to see how wonderful and amazing and magnificent you are, because you are. And this is your imagination. What you're trying to bring about into the world is not for the accolades. It's not for others. It's for you. And don't let pride get in your way. I feel like, don't do it because people are watching. Don't do it because you want to prove people wrong. Or you want to, they laughed at me, I'm going to show them. There's this importance about, don't allow that kind of energy to fuel you, because that's not where you're coming from. If you allow that energy to fuel you, you'll find yourself in a limited space, because you will limit what you can do and will do depending on what you think other people expect of you, what other people want to see from you. Will it be big enough and grand enough for others? That will limit you, because suddenly your focus has changed from something that just needs to come out of you, come through you, to something that you need to show the world. You need it to be important to the world. You need them to like it or be behind it. No, no. You need to be behind it. You need to love it. It needs to resonate with you. It needs to fill you up. And it's that type of thing that you think you've been doing it for 5 minutes and you've been at it for 3 hours, and you got so engrossed that time just fell away. Everything fell away. You haven't eaten all day. It's that I'm not saying that that's what you're going to do, but it's that energy of you just being so fueled by it, so engrossed by it, that it doesn't really matter what anybody says. Sometimes when we talk about what we're trying to do, people can't see it. So sometimes we just have to imagine it ourselves and make it happen. And then once it's there in the 3D world, people can see it, and people can like it or not like it, and it doesn't matter. But it's there. And I feel like there's this sense of don't get caught up on trying to make people be behind your decisions. You be behind your decisions, pole number 4. You love what you're doing. Allow your own soul to fuel you, to guide you. Because there's this sense that you're bringing something out of nothing into something. So you're creating something. And I feel that it will be something that people will judge, that people will look at. So it could be like a new YouTube channel, or it could be you're creating a new business, or a new way of doing things in your present company. That kind of really mixes things up a bit. So, but people will have things to say about it. And I think you've got to not allow that in the creative process, not to guide you, because then you will tweak your imagination, whatever wants to come through you, to the point that it won't be recognizable. It won't be what it was originally going to be. And you'll feel let down. Not other people's fault, but because you've let yourself down. It's just a heads up from spirit, so you don't do that, pole number 4. Now, at the full moon, you've got the 3 of Wands, and I feel this embraces this imagination card. This is your ships coming in. This is having the Ace of Wands in your hand. This is your dreams, your goals, your passions, your calling, your purpose. And you've probably had other attempts in the past that may or may not have worked out so well. But you're still standing, you've still got vision, and your ships are about to come in. Meaning you've taken what was once nothing, it was an idea, it was in your imagination, and you're figuring out ways to bring it into the world, to give it to the world. And I feel at this full moon, it's this clarity on what you really want to do, on what you really want to see happen in your life. There's this sense of, I've just got to try. I've just got to give it a go. It's just, it calls me so passionately and so strongly that I have to try. And this fuels how you feel about yourself, because it makes you embrace courage. There's no certainty here, but it makes you go, no, you know what? This feels so right to me. I've got to see where I can take it. I've got to see where I can go with it, and not worry about what others are saying. Don't look at how you look to others. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because Spirit just said to me, it's not even that, because you don't know how you look to others. So it's, don't even try to guess or imagine how others perceive you, because that's essentially what we do. Now, after the week of the full moon is the waning moon, and this is when we take stock of everything. This is when we've had the clarity of the full moon, and now we're looking at, okay, so we've changed a few things, we've let a few things go, I can see what's working, I can see what's not working, and this is kind of like a week of reevaluation, of just taking stock of things. And you've got the Three of Swords. And I feel that you've got this card because this is the week that you are most likely to allow outside influences to really break you down, to break down your resolute, to break down your idea and make you tweak it. There's a sense here of feeling a little bit like you're probably not going to be able to make this happen. So there might be aspects of yourself that'd be like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think it's going to come to anything. So there's going to be a little bit of sadness and sorrow. But I think the sadness and sorrow is not coming from anything tangible. I think it's coming from your fears and your doubts. Maybe you've spoken to a few people and they've kind of gone, oh, I don't get it. And that's made your doubts grow. So there's this sense in this waning moon, the week of the waning moon, that you become really unsure of yourself. The doubts increase. The whole, oh, what am I doing, gets louder. And it kind of almost drowns out this excitement, this, oh my gosh, I can do this, I'm so fired up. This is kind of when you calm down a little bit and your logical mind, your fears, your anxieties, your worries tend to take over a little bit. And Spirit wants you to be really aware that that's just life. That's the process. When we do something new, when we try different things and step out of our comfort zone, we know that we're out of our comfort zone because we feel uncomfortable, we worry and we stress, and we're not quite sure what we're going to do or how we're going to go about things. But that's almost the sign, pole number 4, that you're doing it. You've taken steps. And so if you can focus more on, I'm scared because I am making changes, as opposed to I'm scared because I'm going to fall flat on my face, it will really help you this week. Now the following week you've got the Emperor, and this is at the new moon. And this shows me that even though you will feel this energy quite strongly and it will grab hold of you, a few maybe restless nights, a lot of worry and a lot of desire to go back to how things were. At the new moon, the new moon is when we set our new moon wishes, when we set new intentions, when we kind of go, okay, what now? You've got the Emperor. Now the Emperor to me it just denotes your personal power. It's a major arcana, so it's how the universe helps you in your journey, the part the universe plays in co-creating this life with us. And the universe is bringing you the Emperor, so the universe is bringing you opportunities, situations, people that empower you. So this is the week that you're likely to get some form of recognition, or you're likely to see a win, and it reignites your fire, because the Emperor is Aries, and Aries is that cardinal fire sign. The cardinal is that energy that likes to move forward with new ideas. It's that spark that just has to be followed. So the Emperor there isn't a better card that could be in this position for you, pole number 4, because this just shows that you reignite your fire for this. You've probably worked through those fears, or You probably still have them, of course, but you're just like, I've got to do it anyway. I just got to see where this has taken me. And there is some self-empowering here. There is a sense that I'm going to do this. I'm just going to push forward. I can do this. And you set those intentions, those goals that you have are just set with this passion and this fuel, this flame behind you. It brings more energy into the equation as well, where you've got the energy to move forward, to see what you need to do. Now, interestingly enough, at the waxing moon, the week after the new moon, the waxing moon is all about taking action. It's really the week that really heralds the most amount of action taking. And interestingly enough, you've got the Four of Pentacles. Now, there is no action in this card at all. Nothing's moving. Everything's been held on to. So the way I see this card, if I had to put a word to it, is procrastination. So I feel like you're going to have this stop-start motion. And I feel there's a tendency to almost put things on the back burner. Almost go, well, I'm just gonna, yes, I know I've got all this, this drive and this ambition, and I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna nut out a few things more. I'm just going to go back to the planning a bit. And Spirit just wants you to see that in this week, procrastination might be something you really need to be aware of and to overcome. This could also be where you get ideas on how to tweak things. Again, just be mindful you're not getting caught up on nitty-gritty things that keep you stuck somewhere. But this could be tweaking things legitimately. You take a step forward and you're kind of like going, oh, that didn't quite pan out how I wanted it to. So the next step is not going to be there. It's actually, I've got to think of another next step, and it might be over here. So it can be that energy as well. So take it as it resonates, pole number 4. But there is a sense here of don't allow yourself to stagnate. Even if you have to tweak your steps, keep moving, keep taking those steps. Don't allow yourself to stall too much. Allow this Emperor energy to fuel you. This might also be because it's directly under the don't let pride get in your way. And I'm seeing the pride card as in being prideful in front of others, like wanting other people's good opinion of you. It can also be maybe keep things close to your chest. Don't divulge too much of what you're doing at this stage, because the opinion of others might actually really sway your decision. It might actually really put a spanner in the works for you or make you slam on your brakes. So just be mindful of that energy in the waxing moon, the 4th week. Amazing energy. Please, if you know what this is, leave a comment. Feel free to share. I'm so curious. What a journey. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 4. Love and light and blessings, my friends. Go for it. Just go for it. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.